Alright, welcome to another InDesign beginner to advanced course. In this lesson, we are looking at the interactivity in InDesign. We are getting closer to working with animations in InDesign, and InDesign has one of the best animations. It's very simple and you can do animation like you using what we call the other animation software. So first of all, what we want to do is that we'll be working with in5 and also working with inbuilt animation in what we call the Adobe InDesign. First of all, we want to install the in5, so let's click and extract it. And now after extracting, I want you to double click and then click on the Windows installer. We have the Mac installer for those using Mac, okay, but for me using Windows, I have to click on the Windows installer and then I have to click on yes. So wait a little bit. Now after doing this, or you just make sure that Adobe InDesign 2022 choose version, okay, make sure that this one is checked, and then all you have to do is that click on accept and install. I've already installed mine, so there's no need. So after installing, you'll find out that we have the in5 over here, and you also can see that we have some of its options over here that we can also work with in5 and other things. Okay, so we'll get to working with in5, really look at some of the animations that we can do with in5, and then also look at all these things. Now we want to do what we call forms and what you call buttons. Okay, so we want to look at this. So this is a customer survey form, and then we want to look at how to work with this thing, because now I want to export this form as an interactive form whereby when a user or a customer gets it, the customer will be able to make sure that this is what we call text frame, or this is first name. Then the user will input his or a first name, the last name input, and a product to the user will select. As you can see, choose from the drop down menu. The user will select from it, and this to the user will be able to choose yes or no, and here to be able to clear, and here to be able to submit. So with that, let's get started. Now we want to make sure this is just some shapes that I've brought over here and added color to it, and then these two have just used font, Nessa font. You can also do same, and I also have it in your size files where you can also go there and then choose from it. Now this is first name, and I want to create a last name. So what I'll do is that Shift and Alt, I'll send it to this side, and then double click on it, and what I'll just do is that add last name, just make all caps. And this two, when you want to create this is an image frame, okay, which is rectangular frame. We don't create a rectangular, just any rectangular frame or rectangular tool. No, we have to create a rectangular frame. So you come here and then we'll create a rectangular frame. Okay, so let me select it and get here and see if I have the correct size. So I'll align it here, and then I'll Shift X, so if not that, I have to add, because here is empty, so I cannot do Shift S to swap the color. So if so, then I have to add a color, and then I'll come here, add a stroke of this. Let me see, 2 point. Now so this is basically what I just did. Okay, you just add your rectangular frame and not add what you call a normal rectangle. Okay, it has to be a rectangular frame. You have to make sure of that. If not, what you do is going to be a waste. Now you can see we have the product, So here just have to also duplicate it. I don't want this to be long. And now I'll also duplicate this out and control, and I see as I did over here, it says do you love our product. Control, let's align. Yeah, okay. Now let's see, align to right now. Let's look at these things. So now we have our first name here, and we can work in the Windows, which is the digital publishing window, but I'll come there. So I just want to show you from here. So you go to Windows, because we are come to work with bottoms and forms. Then you come to interactivity, and then you come to bottoms and forms. Okay, now with these bottoms and forms, as I've already said, I want to make sure that this first name, the user should be able to type his or her name in this box. Last name, person should be able to type his name here. So what I'll do is that with the box selected, I will just come to what you call the type, bottoms and columns. Make sure the window is opened. Okay, so if it is closed, again, let me do it again. Come to Windows, and then come to interactivity or interactive, then come to bottoms and forms. Now with this selected, I'll just come and choose type over here. Now we have bottoms here. I can turn it to a bottom where the person will click and it will send it to the person to somewhere. Can use it as a checkbox, can use it as a combo box where the person can choose from it, because you can also use it as a list box where you bottom signature field and also text field. But since we want the person to be able to type their first name inside, we will choose the text field. And also these options will come. We make sure that we select the name as the first name, and then here should be on release. And now there are some things here. The thing can be printable. If it is something is maybe the name is required, you can check it that is required. You have to make sure you type in. If it is a password, you can make sure to check it, and you know how passwords when they are typed, how it looks. And we have readme, we have multi-line. If you think that they are going to type in more things, then you can choose multi-line. At the moment, you would stick to this, the two over here, which is scrollable and printable. And now here too, you can choose the font. So with this thing too, you can choose the font that you want to use. So if you want Minion Pro regular, you stick to that, or you can choose any of this from here. And then you can also choose the font size. Okay, that's one thing you should know. So let's say I want to make the font size 15 and stick to Minion Pro regular. It will be okay for me. I'll just come here and also work on this, and I'll come and choose a type. Text field, I'll forward it over here. Okay, so let's see here too. Let's say last name, and then we want to make sure this is same over here, and also make sure that this is same. And now we want to come to the product. With the product too, I want to draw my, with it selected, I'll come to the type. I want to choose combo box, because the user, the customer is going to choose from the list that I'll provide from the products. Okay, so the person, you have to choose combo box over here. And now you can come here and make the font as you wish, 15. And now select items. You come here, click inside, and maybe you see rice, and then you just click here, add, you see that it will come over here and you say sugar, then click add. If you don't need it, you can click it and use the minus over here and to remove it from it. So you can still press enter, it will be added for you. So you'll be adding some products. Let's say Milo, and then you can also add, let's say, coffee, and then you can add some products. Okay, and you also have the font selected. Now you also have here, do you love our products, where the user has the can choose whether yes or no. Okay, so now let's say I want to bring in my yes or no. So I'll bring in my test frame. Now do this and type in yes, Ctrl A. So usually make it italic. So if I think that it's too light for me, then let me duplicate it to this side. And I say no. Okay. So that's it. And now with this yes or no, the person has to be able to select between yes or no. So you're going to add what we call buttons. Okay, buttons or radio buttons. So before that, you have to make sure you bring this over here, and now click here and then sample buttons and forms. Okay, so with this there will be some buttons and forms that inDesign has it in the software. Then you can choose any of these. So I want to choose this, just drag it and leave it there. Okay, I can go ahead and then close this. Now if you have to make sure that one is off and one is on. Okay, I'll delete this, I'll bring this here and then choose it this way, and also I'll also bring this over here to this side, then leave it. You have the opportunity to use your what you call the distribution and the alignment that I want to align the bottom. You can do that. So now let me bring it downwards here. And one thing that you have to do, make sure that the name of these things are the same. So let's select this and see what do we have here. Radio at. Let's select this too. What do we have here? Radio at. So you make sure that it is the same. So we have here, you can see that normal off. We can change the colors. You can change the colors. Okay, just take note of that. And what do you also have here? Click on. Okay, can come here, then change the color. Simple. As you saw what happened. Please, I'm sure that you understand what we are doing over here. We're just trying to create buttons and forms. Now we also ready product here. I had something which is choose from and the drop down. Let me just copy it, and so that I don't worry myself doing it again. So you just type in choose from the drop down. I used Minion Pro regular 15 points. Okay, that's what I used. Now I want to create this. So with this to the same thing, I use a rectangular frame. and then drew it here. So I want this to be submit, drew here like this. Then I'll make the color green, and then what I did is I just clicked over here and then did something like this. Okay, and then came over here, held out to duplicate it, then brought it to the front, Control Shift, and then use the brackets. Okay, so now let's change the name. Let's select this and change the name to submit, because submit. Then let's make the font the color white. So we put it at the place that we want. Let's see the size that we use over here. We use 26. So 26. Let's adjust the box. Now, as I did, I even added some drop shadow to it, but let's go on. With this, what we want to do is we want the user should be able to click it, and when the person clicks it, the user will be able to click it and it will submit to us. Okay, it will submit to us. So let's come to type and let's choose bottom, because the person will press it and the bottom should send it the person somewhere. And then we will choose action. So the action, make sure it's bottom one, or you can still change the name to submit. Okay, so let's see. And then you choose action, click on here, add new action. You can add all these action to it, go to URL, last page, and the rest, blah blah blah. And then you can click what you call submit form. So this, it should submit the form for you. Okay, and now we have what we call rollover, which will indicate when the person clicks on the submit form. So the color of this green should change and let us know that the person has clicked on the submit form. So we will come to the rollover here, and then you come and change the color, so that when the person clicks on it, you will know that the person has submitted the form. So let's say I want black, then I'll lower the tint somehow this. So when the first thing when the person sees it will be on normal, and when the person clicks and it is submitted, it will be like this rollover, and the person will not click again. Okay, now I also have the clear over here with this one too. I'll come here and choose it as a bottom, and then I'll come to the action. Now on the action, I'll choose clear form. Okay, and then to the rollover too, I can come and change the color to maybe this. Okay, or let me see, choose a different color, or even I can choose white. I'll still use the same thing, and then I'll lower the tint. Okay, there we go. And we have these two selected, or we are done with this thing. I could also use what we call the contact X. I could also use maybe contact X. Okay, can add this. I say contact X here. Then with this, may decide to add some hyperlink. Okay, so they are all part of the interactivity. So I say contact Us, maybe I want it to be dot indesign, or can still use my email. Okay, I can use my email. And I'll make this regular. Now one thing that I have to show you is the submit. Okay, now you can see the submit and the clear. With the clear, we don't need a unique URL, but with the submit, we need to add a URL where the person, when the person clicks on submit, it will go. Okay, the link will go to there. So there's a link there on the submit. So when the person clicks on the submit, the link that it will go. So I want to use my email, and using my email, I can't just type in my email. I have to use what we call mail to. Okay, so I'll type in mail to, and I'll bring in the column. So okay, mail to, then I'll add my email. It is rich. So after you complete this, the email should be sent to me. So mail to, make it mail to, which is MAILTO, then colon, then bring for instance, mine is richmondchuma@gmail.com, and then make sure that you are done. And then you have preview here. You can also preview it. Okay, you have preview here where you can preview it to see that maybe you are doing the right thing or you are not doing the right thing. Okay, so with this, I slept with us to show you the link. Now this link may be there, but the person may not be able to click or go to the link, click on it, and it goes to the link. So what you have to do is that you have to create an hyperlink with this link. Okay, an hyperlink. So we are going to use the hyperlink. So with this, you go to Windows, Interactivity, and then hyperlinks. So with it selected, with the hyperlink selected, which is ultimate.indesign.com, I'll come here, add, and come here to new hyperlink, and then it will be added for me. So this, maybe I'll add s to the this over here, https, and then this will be the, now I can change the style of all the hyperlinks. Okay, I can create a character style for it. Okay, and we have some of things here that you can also change visibility, and we also have the link to, you want to link it to a URL, you can use it to file, email page, and other things, but we want it to be on URL. And then you have the accessibility here too. You can put in some text over here, so you have some highlights over here and others too, which you can, as usual, play around with it. So that's the hyperlink too. So I've taught you another thing here. Now you click on OK, and now you can close this. So this thing has become a link now. As you can see over here, it has turned into a link. So when you just click it to send you to a link. So with this, then let me see, view. So we are similar to this now, and then now we can go ahead and then create this. And now with this course, I will continue with how to save your documents. Okay, I haven't, in all the things I've done, I haven't taught you how to save your document, but perhaps we are doing it from the continuation of this. So go to file, export, and then want to export it as a, what we call the Adobe PDF Interactivity, not Adobe PDF Print, Adobe PDF interactivity. Okay, and then you can add your name to it, any name that you want to use. You can do that, and then hit on the save. And now you say you can choose pages or rearrange them with page 1, page 2, and the rest. And there are these things that you can work with it, but the moment is not important. And then you have to make sure that review after exporting. That's what we want at the moment. So you can, this is not a spread. If it were to be a spread, we have chosen spread, but it's just a page, so we just choose it as page. And now we hit export. So it's using CMYK and blah blah blah. That's what we want. But when it's for web, you should choose RGB, okay, so that it becomes clear. So it will change it for RGB for us. Okay, now let's see what happens now. So if I'm having internet right now, after you create yours, after finishing it, and whether we are also using the right PDF tool, you should be able to change it. Okay, so you should be able to, for instance, if I were to be using Adobe Acrobat, it should be simple for me to make all these things, and it won't appear this way. Since I'm not using Adobe Acrobat, that's why it has become this way. So you should be able to see what we call the clear here and the submit over here. Okay, if you're using the right thing, so make sure to use Adobe Acrobat after exporting it. But I don't have it on my PC, that's why I use the, so here I can type my name. Okay, and type in my last name. Can come here and choose my product. Can come here and choose yes or no. Okay, so you see, if you know, you see the green will come here. If yes to, the green will come here. And then now I have my hyperlink here, which I can click it and it will send me to the link. Okay, as you can see, it wants to go to the link. And now I can use the clear over here and to clear it. So if I was to be using the right PDF thing, it should appear properly. Okay, understand what I'm saying? So I have this tool here. I say no. I hit submit. The submit, after hitting the submit and I'm on internet, it should be able, this thing should be able to submit to my email, the email that I used. Okay, so let's take note of that. Now we have another one that we are going to do, and then we'll go to that one. So thank you for joining this lesson. Let's go to the part 2 of it.